Hello, today we're here with my D'Angelico Gramercy. My point to this video is I'm playing around with intonation and I am thinking of altering the saddle in this instrument. Now what I want to say is this guitar is wonderful. It's a very nice guitar. It plays extremely well. I love the sound of it. That said, I just want to give it a little extra edge. And so I was noticing, and this is a problem that often occurs. I'm going to illustrate, but when you have a saddle like that with that relief on the B string, and you can see it has that little shelf, it generally, in my personal experience, I've never really cared for that. I believe it affects the intonation in a negative way. Now, everybody has their right to their preference and opinion on that. That's neither here nor there. This is my guitar, and that bugs me. So I'm going to do something about it. Now, the easiest solution, if you've had that too, well, let me illustrate the problem. One moment. Okay, I just took a minute to tune my guitar back to standard tuning, which I'll illustrate, because I'd had a capo on it at the 2nd fret, and the B string was way out, and that happens. And maybe a lot of people don't notice, but it always seems to be a bit of an irritant to me. So my solution a lot of times is when I put the capo on, I check the tuning of that string. But on my other instruments where I've altered the saddle or the bridge, as the case may be, and laid some fret wire in there, I don't have that problem. And I noticed years ago on the classical guitars that have a straight saddle, I don't have that problem. On some of the vintage guitars that had a straight saddle, I didn't have that problem. And so thinking that through, I've experimented over the years with that. I've taken a classical guitar saddle and I've shortened it and fit it into the bridge of a steel string guitar and put a ridge on it and everything, so it was a straight saddle, and it improved the intonation, etc. And years ago, I was in a music shop. I mean, I was in my 20s, and which was 40 something years ago, and I was in a music shop. I had an old acoustic with adjustable metal bridge, and I don't know if you've seen those, and the saddle would fit in that. And I bumped in this old guy, and he said, "Hey, if you really want to make that guitar sing, lay a fret wire in there." Because I was putting on a brass nut at the time, and I took my guitar in to make sure it would fit, things like that. Well, I took his advice. I cut a piece of copper wire, stuck it in there. Wow, it just made it sing. And over the years, I've done that with a few instruments where I would just groove the saddle with a hacksaw and glue some copper wire in there, and it works. And lately, if you've watched any of the other videos, you've noticed that I'll take my fret slaw and I'll actually saw a fret slot into a saddle or a bridge, as the case may be, and lay some fret wire in there, and it seems to make the guitar sing. So I thought, let's experiment with this guitar. But first I want you to see, you can see my tuner, and I'll pluck the string. So that E is in tune. Oh, excuse me. I'm plucking the wrong string. The A is in tune. The D's in tune. The G, I can't see it as well as you might. There's the G. Funny, huh? There's the D. Now here's our B string. And here's our E string. So you can see they're right in tune, just as they should be. And what happens when I take my capo and I put it here at the 2nd fret? And this is a D'Addario adjustable tension capo, and so the goal of that is you only get as much tension on it as you need for the guitar. So now let's check our tuning with the capo on, and obviously it will not be the same notes because we've capoed at the 2nd fret, but the strings should be close to being in tune in theory. So we come up here and we do our low E. Well, it's not an E anymore, it's going to be an F sharp, and you see it's there, it's in tune. The A becomes a B and it's there, it's in tune. And yeah, the D string becomes an E and it's there in tune. And then we have our G string. I'm hitting the wrong string, guys. Becomes an A. It's off a little bit, not bad. But now look at this B string. Way off. And then we go to the E. Pretty close. So this changes it. It becomes very sharp. And you have to lower it. Once you have the capo on, you have to detune that, which I'll do right now. So now I fixed it. If we just it sounds really nice like that. And all I did was change that 2nd string. So now if I play it, it's on. Now what happens when I take it off, the capo off, and I go open and I pluck this, it should be a B. It's going to be too low. See that? So what happens, what does it sound like if I fix that? Now you can see it's in tune again. What does it sound like when you put the capo on? Well, it sounds like the B string, the 2nd string's out of tune. Now, you may not mind that, but it bothers me. So if you don't hear it or you don't notice it and it doesn't bother you, then none of this is important and it doesn't matter. But if you can hear it and you notice it and it bothers you, then you'd want to fix it. And as I said, the easiest fix would be to go on Amazon and get a Taylor saddle, which is a wave saddle. And the B string relief is not so drastic and it's straighter. And that'll fix your intonation. You just put it in the slot where this saddle is, and you could pretty much fix it. It's $19 on Amazon. I'm not going to do that, not because I'm against it. I have a way of fixing it right here at home without spending money, and I also believe that the fret wire allows the strings to sing a little bit more. So before so the next step, I'm going to pull the strings, take this off. I'm going to sand it flat so the relief isn't there. And I'm going to lay fret wire in there and put it back together and see if I have solved my problem. And if I didn't, I can always buy a saddle. And the other thing I'll do after that, and we'll get to hear the difference. And so that's part of what this video is about. I better fix the tuning on this now because I want to illustrate There, that's where it should be. And it sounds much better. It's cleaner. But, and you think, well, if you just retune the B string where we put the capo, you're solving the problem. But that's not true. If I can go up just 2 frets and it goes sharp, and because the closer the distance between the bridge and the nut, if your bridge is in the wrong place, as it gets closer, the string gets sharper. And as it gets further back, it gets flatter. And so that works fine. If I stay in this position, it's not that noticeable. But if I start moving up, which I often do, I know it's going sharper because the intonation, it already got sharper when I moved the capo once. The intonation's not right. And so that's why I want to fix it. The other reason is that it's my experience that I've noticed of late, whenever I add fret wire into a bridge, the guitar has a ringing sound. It's brighter, but not, it's brighter without being tinty or unpleasant. It just gives it a more melodic tone. And so I want to do that. That's my belief, that it improves the sound of the guitar. And the other thing I'll do is add some brass bridge pins. The big question, do brass bridge pins help your guitar sound better, have more sustain, etc.? We'll find that out. First, I'll do the saddle. We'll listen to the guitar. Then I'll do the bridge pins. We'll listen to the guitar. And you can decide if you can hear a difference or not. I just think brass bridge pins are cool, so it doesn't matter. And I got them for free. Okay, so I've changed the nut. I just kept the radius that was on it just by measuring it, and it's the same height by the time I add the fret, and I put a groove, a fret slot in the top of it. So I got rid of that relief, and the plan now is to put the fret in. It'll be glued, and I'll just clamp it in place, and in about a half hour or so I'll put it in the guitar. So here's the finished product in my hand. You can see the nut, and you can see the fret wire. And that's what I'm getting ready to put in the guitar to see if it makes a difference in sound. Okay, I'm back, and I have taken care of the saddle. You see it's different, it's straight. There isn't that weird relief. Of course, it's slanted, which is fine. And if you look closely, you can see there's a piece of fret wire in the saddle to give it more of a ring. Now the question, of course, is, did it solve the problem? What we're looking at is the B string, because it was going sharp when we capoed, so let's just do that B string. You can see it's in tune there. And that's as it should be. Everything else is in tune. Putting this on the 2nd fret. And the big question is it going to be in tune or sharp? And it's in tune. So, at least it looked like it to me. Let's see. Yep, it's in tune. So that solved the intonation problem, because I got rid of that intonation relief on that B string. Now some people call that a fender relief on those acoustic nuts that have that. I don't understand their popularity. I've never cared for them. But like I said, it's really a matter of preference and opinion. Perhaps it gets better way up the neck. I don't know. But I can tell you, when I tuned the strings, of course, I tuned them, and I always check them at the 12th fret with harmonics, which, if you're not familiar with, you pluck it open, and then you come up here, and it should be the same note. And I did it with the tuner, and it is. And so that was the good part. I'm not trusting my ears. I'm trusting the electronics built into this guitar, which I want to say D'Angelico, their proprietary electronics are beautiful, and their tuner, as you've seen it, the video of their tuner, it's one of the nicest onboard tuners I've ever seen on a guitar. So that's all the stuff. Let's play that little piece um, and hear how it sounds. And the reason for that is at the end of all this, I'm taking those three pieces that I did, the one I just did before I put the new bridge in. Now I'm doing the same thing with the new bridge. And then tomorrow, my brass bridge pins are supposed to be coming, and I'll put them in and I'll play the same little ditty. And when I put all those in a row at the end of this video, we should discover um, if whether or not we can hear a difference. And that's why I'm doing that now. So here it goes. And of course, by the time you see what I'm doing, it'll be cut up a little bit, because I'm going to take all the pieces where I'm playing the guitar and put them at the end of the video so that they go one right into the next, so you can clearly hear it. Here we are, brass bridge pins, put them in, and what comes next is the three clips of the guitar played with different configurations. So the first clip is the way the guitar sounded with the standard bridge that came in the guitar. The second clip is how it sounds after I modified the standard bridge by cutting a slot and putting fret wire in it and getting rid of the intonation, the B string relief, the Fender, because it was a Fender style relief on there. And then the last clip is the new customized saddle with the fret wire and no drastic relief and bridge pins. So we're going to play those three videos and see what they sound like. I don't know what you're hearing when you hear those clips, but I'm hearing my den. That's what I like to call it, because when I was growing up, the cool dads on TV had dens. Anyhow, here in my den where I read and play music, I think I got a fullness out of it with the brass bridge pins that I didn't hear previously. There's a little more sustain, and I think a little greater depth. You may not hear that on the video. I hope you do. And that, that kind of stuff, when we get into hearing something and feeling it, and especially when you're the one wrapped around the instrument, it's pretty subjective. It's a lot of opinion and preference and all those kinds of things. But hopefully the videos have enough clarity, as we did that experiment, that you could hear changes, and maybe you liked one or the other better. That's fine. You may have liked the standard bridge that it came with better, and now you know. Maybe you just liked um, the customized bridge alone. Now you know, don't go to brass bridge pins. Maybe you, from this, have learned, the standard bridge with the brass bridge pins might have been enough. That's possible too. What I came away with personally is I kind of like this configuration. It was nice. I got the brass bridge pins for free, and I didn't have to buy them to find out. And here they are on the guitar, and I'm pretty happy with them. So that's what I'm walking away with. Hope you enjoyed this video and process so that you might know what you want to do with your guitar. So that's about all I have to say today. Lord bless you guys, and I hope you continue watching.